So you know the amazingness of Merps' accomplishment as a super part-time Diablo 3 player.
I've been told that Diablo 2 was really hard. I don't remember hearing Diablo 3 was hard.
Oh, it's not hard. It's just a testament to how much time Merps can spend in the game while being a part-time streamer.
Spend so much time in a game.
Keck W, am I right? Yeah.
I would never. I don't know what that's like.
Oh no. Slysssa is all about sophistication and small. Like she just dabbles in games and then gets out of there immediately. A connoisseur, just like me, we appreciate the finer things in life, like Hello Kitty, Magic Rainbow, Pony Island, Sprinkle Adventure Time. The classiest of games. Okay, cool. This is great.
All right.
Well,
we ready?
Yeah, I am. All right, consistent countdown.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Lightforge. This is ADWCTA.
This is Merps. Hope you guys are all doing well. For this podcast, we have a very special guest, multiple bazillion-time legend player, BG extraordinaire, the Murloc queen herself. Welcome to the Lightforge podcast, Slysssa. Hi. How's it going, Slysssa?
Oh, it's good.
All right. So, right off the bat, how's quarantine life treating you?
Oh, basically the same. I feel like I'm a little less care of how I look, even though I do not go out any less than how I used to go out. Like I just, I don't go out ever anyway, so it's basically the same.
Imagine now leaving the house as a gamer.
Yeah, now you look at everybody else on webcam and you're like, everyone else is really letting themselves go. See me, case in point. So less need for that. So we have no topics today. No real topics. If you look at our topic list on the YouTube channel, it just says special guest Slysssa. So we'll just see where this goes.
Yes. So Slysssa, I didn't tell you this beforehand, but your responsibility is carrying this entire podcast. So, yes, thank you for volunteering for that.
Okay, great.
Maybe not like, specifically volunteering for that, but we appreciate it. Since we have you on, maybe we should talk a little bit about Hearthstone. Just a little bit. I think that might
sounds like something I can talk about.
That sounds like something you are very well equipped to talk about. And in particular, part of the reason why we wanted you on the show was not only do you play Hearthstone, I think you have a very interesting background. And I think it would be really cool for people to learn, about Slysssa, not just the Hearthstone player, but Slysssa, the person and the streamer as well. So let's start.
I'm a robot. Streamers are robots. Come on.
Why are you? Okay, look. We have an implicit agreement not to break. Not to tell our secrets.
This is the streamer's code. What are you doing? It's not that kind of podcast. We're not hard news.
I thought this. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, dude. This is not like the TMZ or the National Enquirer or something. This is a professional, well done podcast. All right.
There is definitely not a black box right now hiding my camera on this Discord setup. Not a purely opaque black colored box to do that, rather than actually figuring out how to get 3 cameras to work on this.
You told me you were going to do that. It looks a lot better than I thought it was going to look.
Yeah, it's a black box. The background is black. Hacker mentality.
Okay. So, Slysssa, bring us back to the beginning. And how did you find Hearthstone? When did you begin playing it?
Okay, I think I started playing it, I want to say 2015. I could be off by a year. But basically, my boyfriend at the time, now husband, we were dating a year without me knowing that he played video games. He didn't play for a full year because all his friends, girlfriends hated when their boyfriends played video games. So he did not tell me that he was a gamer. For a full year, he hid this from me.
That's pretty skillful.
Did he know you were a gamer?
Well, I wasn't a gamer.
Oh.
My whole life wanted to play video games and never was given anything I wanted. So, I wanted a Game Boy. My parents wouldn't give me one. I wanted a Nintendo. My parents didn't get me one. My brother wanted an Xbox. He got it. So I was left out of video games my whole life, even though I always wanted to play. And whenever I could play with the boys, I would. but suck because I just didn't get to play very often. And so he finally wanted to start playing video games with his friends again. And so he wanted to try and distract me with something. So he first tried by buying me Sims. And I played Sims for like a day and got super bored. I was like, okay, burn the houses down. I don't know what to do anymore. And he realized that like I did a lot of Sudoku. I was obsessed with Sudoku. Really, I really liked math. I was in marketing at the time and hated marketing. I wanted to become a math teacher. And so finally he was like, well, you might like this card game. It's pretty strategy based. And I just became obsessed right away and played it nonstop all the time. That's how I got started. And
That's a
now
pretty...
he gets to play video games all the time because he got me to play video games all the time.
Yeah, now it's flipped, right? It's like you're the gamer and he's like the tag-along gamer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like... And so now all his friends are jealous because like, oh, well, your wife plays video games all day and my wife doesn't let me. So that's funny how it turns out.
This is very interesting. Because I see his streams now as well, and you know you are the pro gamer, like you're in an organization, right? You're F2K Slysssa, and then he's Critter. It's like just Critter, just Critter. So all right, you started playing Hearthstone, and you were drawn to it immediately. What did you like about it? Like, because you're saying how you were just drawn immediately into it, and I think, if you're listening to this podcast, obviously you can like the game to some extent, but I think for different people, it's different reasons.
Yeah, I'm very drawn to strategy. My whole life I have. Like, I'm very left brain in that sense. I'd always score like insanely high on left brain things and terrible on right brain things. It's just there's something about it. My brain has to be doing some sort of strategy thing at all times. So if I'm not playing Hearthstone, I'm literally doing a puzzle of some sort. But so I used to, before Hearthstone, Sudoku all day, and I timed myself. I wanted to be the best Sudoku player. I didn't know if there was tournaments or something, but I was training.
Is there like a community that like compares high scores?
Tournament?
It's super embarrassing, but like I just had to flex that part of my brain. I didn't get to flex it very much in marketing, and so finally, like, I got to play Hearthstone and like flex the strategy side, and I become very obsessive with strategy based games. If you can't tell that part of me.
So Slysssa, I would consider you a very, very competitive, intense person. Would you agree with that?
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And so I think in that sense, it's like I'm glad you were able to channel it into something other than Sudoku. I don't know, like how far you could have gotten there. Although in today's day and age, there's probably competitive Sudoku and like drama between the top Sudoku players and just all of this trash talk.
I had gotten into chess or something. I don't know.
There's one listener right now that's just like twitching in his or her seat. Like, what do you mean there's no competitive Sudoku? Merps, you have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure. Like, I don't know. Look, this is my ignorance. I apologize for all of the pro Sudoku players out there. But, all right. So, Slysssa, not only were you in marketing, but you eventually were teaching, right? You taught for a while before you became the Murloc Queen streamer right now. So, what happened with that? Like, sort of how did you transition from being a teacher to being a streamer?
So I was a teacher for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it. I got to do math all day, so I got to flex that right part of... left part of my brain or whatever side it was, I don't know. So I got to math all day, which I loved. And I like teaching people. There's something about helping someone understand something and making it click that I really enjoy. And so I taught for 3 years, and by the second year, my autoimmune disease got really, really bad. I have Crohn's disease. And I ended up in the hospital, in and out for a year, and unable to walk. very well for about a year. My autoimmune disease had caused my legs to swell up and all the blood vessels in them to burst. And so I'd go in and out of times where I could walk. And I was working like 14 hours a day, 14 to 16 sometimes.
Teaching 14 to 16 hours a day?
Yeah, because my commute was an hour to an hour 30. And then I taught all day, and then I coached all afternoon. And if we had a game, we'd have to travel 1 to 2 hours farther away from where I lived.
Right.
And then I coached 3 sports. So I coached every season. I was kind of required to because I was the new teacher. And then I'd tutor at night if I didn't have a game to help make money because you make so little money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have to get home, and then I'd have to go to bed to start the day over.
Sleep.
That sounds intense.
Yeah, all the stress causes autoimmune diseases to go crazy, and so I really just wasn't doing well at all. And at the time, he was my fiance at the time. He was just like, I don't know if your body can handle this. I think you need to get healthy because I think we should start having kids soon, so we need to get your body healthy. And so I think you should stop teaching to do that. But while you don't teach, you should have a hobby. And he's like, I want you to see this streamer. Her name's Slysssa, and I think you'd really like her. You guys are a lot alike, and you should watch her streams. So I started watching Ali, and I became obsessed with her. I was like, biggest fangirl of Slysssa of all time. And I wanted to be just like her. And so he was like, go for it. I'll support you while you try out the streaming thing. And I just went full time right away. I just went for it.
Cool. Yeah.
And I haven't been in hospital since. My health is back on track because I'm not stressed.
See, confirmed. Playing Hearthstone is not as stressful, despite how it seems, as teaching. Yes. Well, what grades did you teach?
I was a high school teacher.
Oh, nice. I used to be a SAT teacher for the Prisoner Review for a while before starting my professional career. Math was my specialty too.
Yeah, so all listeners out there, ADWCTA was in charge of molding young, impressionable minds, okay?
16-year-olds.
Specialized ways of teaching. Like, I'll just leave it there.
See, I leave it to actual math teachers like Slysssa to teach them actual math. When I got in there, my first statement was if you are learning math in this class, you're doing it wrong. You should learn no math in this class, just learn how to fill in the right bubbles on the test and get into a good college, and then you can figure out what to do in that college, not knowing the math you really should know when you get to that college.
I mean, that I actually agree with somewhat. It's like, with tests is okay. I don't want to make this into a SAT prep podcast. Okay,
this is a podcast about math. Didn't you know?
All right.
What do you think we're forging at the Lightforge?
So, Slysssa, you basically decided at that point. It's like, okay, you love teaching, but like it was really hard on you, and then you decided to get into streaming. How did you jump in, and how did you position yourself? Like from the beginning, did you know it's like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that? Because I think for a lot of people, they view streaming as, oh, simple. I just sit down, put on a camera, play games. We know it's not like that at all. And there are so many things. So I'm curious about how you began and the struggles, if any, that you had to deal with from the beginning.
Just list them. Oh no, but I mean,
we got 5 hours. It's fine.
It's fine. Honestly, I think my background put me in a good position because I have a marketing degree. I worked in marketing for numerous years, and then I was a teacher for numerous years. And you know what Twitch is? It's a mix of marketing yourself and teaching Twitch chat.
Well, wait, I thought you taught high schoolers, not kindergartners.
Oh, okay. I would equate Twitch chat to high schoolers, but I believe in my chat. No, yeah. So I think I had this marketing side of me who knew kind of that side, but I didn't know a ton about Twitch. I knew who Slysssa was. I knew who a couple streamers were. I knew Tice, Life Coach. I think that was kind of it. So I watched a bit and tried to just like use the marketing side of me to, okay, what's my name? Get it the same on every platform. That's why I have 3 S's in my name, is because one platform someone took 2 S's. And so every platform had to be the same. So I had to take 3. Well, at the time I was like, I'll just put a third S because that's how I type anyways. It's kind of a signature. And I feel like streaming was just kind of more natural, a bit, not a ton. I watch old streams. I'm like, oh god, and I still watch streams and think I make mistakes in the way I stream. But I feel like because I have a teaching background, I know how to speak to an audience and explain things. And there's something called classroom management, where you manage your classroom, and that is super important in Twitch because when you have a full chat and kind of command that, and I don't know, I feel like it all kind of came together. Of course, there's plenty of struggles along the way.
Yes.
But
we don't have to talk about all of them, but
I mean, like, I hate pulling the gender card, but it is a card that you have to bring up because you do get stereotyped as a female, like, oh, you're a girl, therefore you're a cam girl.
I mean, that's a legit difficulty, right? And I'm glad you brought it up as well. And it's not even playing like a gender card or anything. It is something that is very, very tough because, you're entering an industry that is predominantly, male dominated, and
not just male dominated, but like very like masculine culture dominated. Despite the fact that like everyone's a dork like behind a screen, it's still a very like toxic masculinity dominated culture.
Look, everyone is everyone is basically just that guy, like that South Park guy, right? Who like kills everyone on the World of Warcraft server. Everyone is that guy, but they want to be something more than that. But deep down, we're all just like losers who play children's wizard poker. People on the internet are just mean. Like they'll try to go for the kind of the easiest thing to target you with, and they will go for it. That's just sort of how it is. But I also recognize when you talked about your early streams and how you've learned from them, it immediately brought to mind one stream, because I shared this with Shady about a month ago. It was my first stream with him. Before Shady was an actual streamer, we had him on the series that we used to do.
The Poacherlizer. Remember GBG?
I don't remember those days. It was because it was 5 years ago. But it was me.
Wait, so which expansion did you come in on? You said 2015, so you weren't playing Hearthstone from the very beginning. What was the first expansion you played?
You know what? I don't remember them as expansions because I was so casual. I was the type that as I opened cards, I'd put them in my deck kind of thing, and I didn't know there were deck lists. I didn't know there were competitions. I didn't know there was expansions. I know it was before Wild. And
so you were the person who delayed more deck slots. You were exactly that person that prevented.
Anytime that Blizzard does something for the casual player, I was the epitome of that, and I can think back to those days when you don't want to nerf cards and change cards, because that would terrify me back then. Like, I totally see the casual side of like certain types of arguments, because I was that person for at least a year, because I didn't know that there's a whole community of Hearthstone people back then. So I could totally get that.
Yeah. And Slysssa, one thing that I have been very impressed by is kind of, number one, your dedication to the craft of streaming. I think you're one of the people that take. I mean, look, for a lot of people, they take streaming seriously, but I think you definitely try to break it down in a way, really study the craft. And once again, a lot of people just look at it as like, oh, just play a game, turn on the camera, etc. But there is a lot more to it than just playing the game. There's, like you said, camera presence, doing that stuff, and also really studying. It's like, oh, how can I succeed, right? So I think for you, you're a great example of someone who not only just decided to stream and put a lot of effort into it. You're like very smart about it from the very beginning.
So how much did you watch yourself like after you stream to like look at and like review yourself?
I hate watching myself. I try not watch myself as much as possible. I do more research on other people, and I'm very research and data oriented. But
Yeah,
I have to watch myself sometimes if I have to edit a YouTube by myself or something, and I'm not very YouTube oriented. But yeah, there's things that you notice about yourself that you're like, I can't change that. It's a tick, and I have to deal with it. But there's things that you can change, like when you talk or the way you talk to chat, stuff like that. But I don't really watch myself very often.
Yeah, I'm always curious how streamers like look to improve themselves, because I think I watched myself a bit in the first like couple months when I was streaming, and since then I've watched
curious,
myself
right?
never.
You're like, what does this look like? But then it's like, oh god, it's so cringy, and then you're like, well, cringe is sometimes good. So
okay, see the difference between the two of you guys, if I were to compare, Slissa, all the improvements now are sort of like small things here or there. ADWCTA, you literally need to start reading chat.
No. I don't look to improve when I watch myself. I just did it for like, let's say for entertainment value. Like, what do I really look like when I'm streaming? What are people watching? What do they see in this? Why are people doing this?
Why would people watch me? I truly don't understand this.
As our Twitch chat knows, my Twitch chat interaction and ability to handle the chat has gotten worse as the years went on, along with the decay of my mind and my body generally. While our chat has slowed down. Like, our chat moves at about like a third of the speed as it used to, maybe a quarter of the speed.
You still don't read anything.
Yeah, I think I'm worse at keeping up with chat now.
You are actually so bad. But okay, so Slysssa, if someone were to think about starting up streaming, and they just don't know how to navigate this, what are some ways? What are some general tips you can give them to sort of prepare and to be like, okay, these are some of the things that might not be as apparent, but you need to know and you need to do the groundwork on.
The biggest thing, in my opinion, is networking. Networking is like not the best word, I guess, because people think that of, but you need to become friends with those who are like you, or like you. That's not a word. I don't know. So you should become.
She teaches math, not English.
Yeah.
I was an English teacher. But becoming friends with other streamers who are very similar to you, same size as you, the same game mode as you, is super important in hosting and then being part of their streams, not self-promoting, of course, that'd be awkward, but just becoming friends and just members of communities. Because if you're a valuable member of a community, then other people want to hang out with you. I love hosting people who are members of my community. I would host their stream if I saw them streaming. I'm like, oh, he's in my channel. I'm going to host him. And so being parts of people's channels, not self-promoting, obviously, but just being part of communities is really important. And there's certain streamers who will start and just never even been in other people's channels, never part of communities. And I don't know how you expect to build up your own if you don't know what a community is like.
Yeah, I think
important.
Yeah, I like how you brought that up as like the first thing, because I also believe that it's the most important, because streaming now is so different from streaming when we started, right? In like 2015.
Well, when we started, we built the community on Reddit first. And then we started importing it into Twitch. Like we were.
I don't touch Reddit. Oh god.
That's a cesspool that yes. I completely agree.
So we went about it in a different way, but that was a different time. Like we actually made people watch Twitch who were not Twitch viewers, rather than take Twitch community and integrate there. Because at that point there was also only 2 arena streamers. Although I guess now there's also only 2 arena streamers.
We're right back. Back there. Woo! Yes. So it was a very different time though. And if you were at that point, if you were just playing the game, and if you were good at the game and had even something slightly unique, or even just had a good camera, you could slowly build yourself up.
Yeah.
It was just natural. And it's very different nowadays. You could be a tippy top leaderboard player in whatever game mode. You could be entertaining. You could be just you could check all the boxes, but you're just never going to gain viewers. Like you're going to hit that plateau of like 10, 20 viewers and no one is going to know who you are still. So I think that is very important to just reach out. And it's also kind of just fun, right? It's just, you want to play the game, but you also want to share your excitement with other people that play the game. It's crazy. I know, having fun with Hearthstone.
with friends? Making friends?
With friends. All right.
Oh,
let's
God,
not wait.
Slysssa. Are we not friends? I'm sorry.
Can we not use the F word here?
I'm so sorry. I thought we were friends, but
this is moving too fast here. Oh yikes. Okay, we need to talk about the F word off the podcast. Okay. No, but I do think it is super duper important for streamers, and if you are thinking of streaming nowadays, because even though there's a lot of opportunity for growth, it's very saturated and it is very hard. And unless you're bringing something extraordinarily different to the table, or if you
like playing Arena,
okay, something that people actually care about too. But no, unless you're bringing something extraordinarily different, or you're bringing like a Mount Everest size kind of bucket load of achievements into streaming, like you just won a world tournament in something and then you decide to stream, it's not going to be successful, or it's stacked against you. So the community building and everything, I think, is really important. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
I mean, I study people's viewership a lot, and what makes a streamer blow up or whatnot. And a lot of streamers are big because they've been in the game for a long time. The longer you're in it, the bigger you are. And I ask my viewers all the time, how many of you guys found me from scrolling on the directory? And no one has found me, or not no one, that's a bold statement.
Right.
Barely anyone has found me from scrolling. Most people say, oh, I saw you on Jorbs' YouTube, or Ali hosted you one day, or I saw you on Grinning, or something like that. Like, it's always through others. And a lot of people say, I just watch the people I watch. They have their main 3 people they watch, and they don't change, and they don't look for other things. So it is really hard to grow unless you find a community of friends. Obviously, don't force friendships like I just tried. Find natural friendships.
Never assume friendship. Okay?
This is not a friendly. Goats are not friendly.
No, never. So okay, now that we have the F word awkwardness out of the way.
Can you go? I'm actually really interested in where you were going with this. I know I cut you off when we went a different way, but what were you talking about this whole shady thing? Go back to that story. With Shady and the Polterlizer, and then we started talking about GVG, because I was curious when Slysssa got into Hearthstone.
Oh, okay. Well, you want me to finish my thoughts?
Yeah. Finish your story.
Okay, first of all, I look terrible. Oh my gosh, I look terrible. And it was just, I didn't know.
Wait, you look terrible right now, or you look terrible on the Polterlizer with Shady?
Both.
Okay.
Once again, we've come full circle, okay? Quarantine Merps is nothing great to look at. I've also put on like 15 pounds. I'm bulking, all right? I'm bulking. Just like Mac from Always Sunny. I'm cultivating mass.
That was so good.
Yeah. There you go. But I remember specifically Shady, because remember how we did this? We asked for people who had good averages to come on. This is the first time so I didn't see Shady, and then he shares a screen, and boom, there's this gorgeous god in front of me. Also, he had the gunner glasses. I was like, holy shit, this guy he is not what I expected, because I expected the guy from South Park World of Warcraft, right?
That's how that dude. You know, people say look at your audience like they're all wearing underwear or whatever. You look at your audience like they're all World of Warcraft South Park guy.
Just that guy. And then of course he had the gunner glasses as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is awesome. And it was fun. We had a good time, but holy shit, like I have no awareness of chat. I'm just terrible with talking. Talking to an audience that is not physically there, but you have to pretend is there, is really weird. It's really awkward. And I know that it sounds like it makes sense to people, I think, but until they start doing it, they're like, "Oh God, this feels
Because
really
you don't
weird."
just like do it for like 10 minutes. You have to do it for like 6, 8, 10, however many hours you're
You
streaming.
only do it for 10 minutes every 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, you as in the streamer, not me. I'm special. We know I'm special.
Oh, you're very special, dude.
I found that nowadays I can talk into it. Like, I'm way better at talking to a camera than a human. I'm like, do I look at their eyes? Like, where do I look? Like, I panic in front of real humans.
What do I do with my hands?
I'm also less.
Two mugs. I don't know.
I'm also less able to like talk to people and then respond to their questions or their responses when they get back to me immediately. Like, I need a 5-second delay now to respond to human beings.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was my point about the thing with Shady, where I look back and it was just cringe. It was complete cringe. My hair was even worse than it is right now, and I had access to a barber at that time, so I have zero excuse. But anyways, so we have you on. You play a lot of Hearthstone. You're multiple time constructed legend, and you've played a lot of BGs. You even played Arena for a little bit. I've seen this.
No.
She's like, we're not going to talk about that. That's not a part of the official record.
Yeah,
only when I played with Shady, because Shady, I love Shady, and I would play with him once a week. I used to.
Oh wow, cool. Okay, you stay away from Shady. I'm not like in.
He used to make me bacon.
Okay, he never made me bacon. Okay, all right. Let's not. Oh, okay. This is digging into me a little bit. All right, so let's talk about BGs because that's what you play right now. That's what I play a lot right now as well. I'm curious because, like I said at the very beginning, you are, I think the scientific term is a gazillion time legend player in both standard and in wild, right?
Oh, I hate wild. I think it's. I will stand firm in saying that I do not touch. I have hit legend in wild.
Yes.
And that's how I know that I hate it. Because I've done the whole thing. I went front to back and I said, I'm never doing this again.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
But I'm curious because you played a ton of constructed. You obviously were very invested in it. And now I would say you're mainly, like, very strongly a BG player. And I'm curious why that transition happened.
I think, okay, so I played standard a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it to the same extent that I played Battlegrounds. I played standard all day on stream, and I played it all day off stream because I really enjoyed it, first of all, and I wanted to become the best. I think part of the way you become a more known streamer is to become the best, especially as a female. You kind of have to prove that you're good to get respect. So I played off stream, on stream all the time, and I wasn't ever burnt out by it until I started playing Battlegrounds and discovering like a new liking for something, a new obsession. And the obsession just really kind of kicked off, and I started realizing I was happier playing Battlegrounds than playing Standard. And I felt myself tilting way more in Standard than I'd ever tilted. I was not a tilty player. I didn't play tilted. I was like, but then I started becoming super tilted playing Standard, and that's I don't play it anymore. I'm bronze 10.
Yeah. I think welcome to the club.
Yes, you guys are just as you guys are equals in constructed, I am sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, I was a legend player 100% of the seasons I played legend. I mean, constructed.
That's true. you got there with fairy dragons and jungle panthers and 2 mana fiery war axes.
Back in the day, before all these fancy things showed up.
Before all the fancy things showed up, you topped it off with like 1 Argent Commander or something.
Hey, and back then it was harder to get legend because it actually meant something. You had to be like above 50% win rate.
Back in my days, these darn kids right now, they don't know. All right, okay, Boomer, that's great. So Slysssa, you play a lot of Battlegrounds. You obviously like it a lot. What's your take on Battlegrounds right now? If we're and I'll call it the I don't know, the tiering up meta. I don't have like a great name for it. You can name it like if you have a better name. But what's your take on Battleground?
The post Millhouse meta? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
My take on Battlegrounds right now. Well, I just came off of not hitting 12K in May.
Same.
Like the
Same.
goal I set out 5 days ago. My 5-day goal that I didn't hit. So I'm a bit salty. I got close-ish. I don't like how hard it is to climb once you're high MMR. Like I posted on Twitter,
Yep.
I got +1 for 3rd place.
Oh God.
Today.
Oh, that sounds painful.
And I got a point, and I'm just like, oh. So
yeah.
Like, that took
just
600 more of those to go.
600 more of those, and you're right at 12K.
Yeah. So I'm slightly salty about the grind once you're at high MMR. But I love Battlegrounds, so I can't dog it too much. I'm obsessed.
I love it too. It's because look, the thing about Battlegrounds is it's just a very fun limited format, right? I like limited formats. Part of the reason I never played Constructed is because it's too much of Constructed, I feel, is the game outside of the game itself. Where, as you know, much better than me, that if you want to be one of the best Constructed players, you need to know the meta in terms of what everyone is playing. And in order to be ahead of the meta, you need to like first know the meta and then analyze your deck. Know that, okay, I'm going to take out these 2 cards, tech in these 2 other cards, and that is the edge that I have in order to propel me to, like, let's say a top 15 legend finish at the end of the season, versus, you know, just staying with the meta. And to me, I didn't find that enjoyable. I liked going into a game. You know, obviously there's a lot that we need to know about Battlegrounds, but I don't want to have to study the meta, keep up with it, and then spend hours and hours outside of the game in order for me to optimize my, you know, results inside of the game.
Right.
All right.
So what's your favorite meta, Slysssa, in the Battlegrounds so far? Is this your favorite one, or is it like one of the prior ones?
Oh, I was actually pretty late to Battlegrounds. I didn't start streaming it when everyone else did. I stayed to standard because I thought my stream would be more successful if I stayed to standard. And then when did I switch? I don't think I switched till February or March.
Oh wow. That is
pretty recently.
Pretty late. Yeah.
Pretty late. And I took a big tank. I lost about half my viewers. But eventually I hit a growth spurt in it and been doubling in size. But so it's hard to say because I missed a lot of amalgam meta. Like I'm not real. Like someone's been mentioning recently. I don't know if this is a meme or not. If this is true, did Void Lord really used to be tier 6?
Yes, it actually used to be. Yeah,
Sneeds used to be tier 6.
Sneeds used to be tier 6.
Sneeds was 6.
But
I remember Void Lord being 6.
Void Lord used to be 6, and this was also before. So, like, if you, because the only use Void Lord has is with shooty, right? Soul Jugglers. But back then, Soul Jugglers also didn't do 3 damage split up twice, the golden version. Right. It did 6 damage once, which is so much worse. So Void Lord was actually just useless because no one played Soul Jugglers. And additionally, it was trash independently. It was just a Wild West, you know? But it's okay because that's when BG's was in beta, and it's still in beta right now. I don't understand that. I truly don't understand why it's still in beta. But you definitely didn't miss much by missing out on the amalgam meta.
I mean, I really. So when I was starting to get better, was during Demon meta.
Oh God. Can
we really call that getting better?
I loved Pink Boy, Blue Boy comp. But I don't know if that's my favorite. I want to say the meta right before Millhouse became OP. That might have been my favorite.
That was a
back
good
when
meta.
Cobalt was still a thing.
Yeah.
It was when dragons were bad. That was before they made it cheaper to tier to 6. That change came with dragons, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was around that time in which they decreased the cost just by 1 of tiering up to 6, but it made a world of difference, right? That 1 gold, especially for some very specific heroes, it made it very efficient for them to go to 6, sell a unit, and, you know, do all this stuff.
Right.
But so you caught up really quickly, and I think part of that, you know, has to come from your experience in Constructed, from your experience as a teacher, and also from your arena experience. Yes, say yes. Yes. So no, I'm curious. How did you learn so fast? Because you did start off pretty late, and now you are like a high leaderboard player. So I'm wondering what helped you sort of grab onto these lessons that ADWCTA still does not comprehend at all.
He climbed pretty fast. I've been watching him.
God.
Sorry.
I don't think I'm good, but I do climb fast. I think those are separate things.
Yeah, I play a lot of hours. We've talked about this off camera, but I'll admit it on camera. I have over 1,000 hours logged on my main account, and I have numerous other accounts. So I don't know how many total hours I have in Battlegrounds, but I have over 1,000. And I'm kind of a slow learner, so I do need more time. I watched a lot of streamers. Anytime I was off stream, I was watching a streamer or practicing and trying to learn, pick up tips, because it's my honest opinion that I want to be the best, and I want to be a good streamer too. And I knew I wouldn't grow as a Battleground streamer unless I was highly ranked. So that was part of the incentive. I just wanted to grow my stream because it took a huge hit when I switched from standard to Battleground. So yeah, I just watched a ton of streamers and picked up little tips and stuff like that and tried to apply it.
I think I've repeated this pretty often, but I think part of the reason for your success in, you know, switching modes and going from, because I think it's actually easier for arena players to go from arena to BGs rather than constructed into BGs because of that limited format, right? In which in arena you always want to keep all options open. There's a lot more just ambiguity, and you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable a lot of times. And I think in constructed, it's like you can have a lot of comfort in being prepared, such that, you know, the game, obviously there are still decisions and you can play it out, but as soon as you queue up into whatever class, you know what deck they're bringing. You know, it's like, okay, I got a mulligan for this, I can improve my odds for this and this, I need to watch out for this card on turn 2, blah 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 blah. While in Battlegrounds and in Arena, it's sort of like, okay, like, let's keep all options open, this is better, but I have no idea, right? Let's scout, let's do all of this stuff. But I think for you, and part of the reason why I was very curious about your background as a teacher is I think a lot of this is just asking the right questions, right? And I think you, as a teacher, you understand that process very well, in which learning anything is really just about asking the right questions. And even if you're not asking the right questions, asking the questions to get you to asking the right questions is going to help you out. You know what I mean, right? Like that's
you have to be willing to analyze, where did I go wrong? And you can't say I got unlucky. You can't just say that to yourself every time you don't gain an MMR. I'm sorry, but I hate when Twitch chats like, I'm just unlucky and I'm stuck at 4K, and I'm like, are you? Or are you not progressing because you're not realizing the situations where you made a mistake? And you have to be able to go back and say, this is where I went wrong. This is when Bob's buddy started telling me I was losing percents. What did I do wrong? And then watching how other people would play those turns out, seeing what would I have done? Why did they do that? Analyzing the why. Why did they do this? Why did they level there? Why, stuff like that. And just being able to ask the right questions, like you said.
Having Bob makes so much of a difference. Like I feel like I'm able to appreciate my situation, and learning maybe like 4 times faster than I was before. Like just from a purely like personal experience kind of thing, because right? You can't blame luck or to whatever extent, or you can blame luck, and then you don't go the wrong way and like over adjust.
You think you're strong because you won the last round, so you're like, I'm gonna level, I'm gonna do all this greedy stuff because I'm strong. But in actuality, Bob's might be like, you just got lucky there. You're not strong.
Yep.
And you should realize, I was not strong. I need to fix this up right here. Like, Bob's buddy's like actually a nice tool to getting better.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you use it properly. If you don't, you just use it as a foreshadowing.
So I think that is interesting that you bring up like the learning process. This is a lesson I want to instill into Twitch chat and to all of our listeners as well, because with the learning process, it's Slysssa, you do a very good job on your stream of explaining, I think, the way that people need to think about the game, which is a unit is not like, I think too many people think of units as the unit itself. And just as I taught in my arena guide, it's like, no, break it down to the fundamentals. Be like Neo in the Matrix. Like you want to see the ones and zeros, not the lady in the red dress, right? So
I don't know what that reference means.
Oh yeah, you don't watch movies. Oh my gosh.
Wait, she doesn't watch movies?
She
like
doesn't
any
watch
movies?
She actually doesn't watch movies.
Like is this like well, I was gonna say religious, but I mean just like a philosophy thing, or is this just you don't like movies?
My attention span cannot last that long. I need I'll be playing a game in the background, and then I like TV shows. I love TV shows because you can
only half-hour formats or also hour-long formats.
I'm willing to do the hour-long because without commercials, it's 45.
Okay.
That's why I like Disney movies. I'll watch the Disney movies. There's musical breaks and stuff. But I can't. I can't watch movies. There's not enough character develop, or I don't know. It's just one and done, and you're just like, oh, okay. I don't know. I guess movie series. Harry Potter. Obviously, I'll watch that.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay.
I like how you say obviously when anyway.
No, I get it. You get invested in the characters and you want more, and if you know it's going to end after 2 hours, like it's harder to get invested. I can see that.
And TV has like storylines. Like I don't know. I like TV show. I watch TV. I don't watch movies.
Okay. All right. This confuses me. But back to my lesson, okay? So I think what you do a good job of, like, for example, on 7 gold or 8 gold, you will address Twitch chat and hope that they understand and explain to them. It's like, okay, we can buy, this extra Murloc, and what the Murloc does is it gives us percentage points towards an eventual Murloc comp, which is, like game winning and very strong. I can also take, for example, a Zubat here that's immediate stats. The Zubat doesn't contribute to my end game comp, but it'll contribute whatever small percentages to me winning the next 2 fights, let's say, versus, potentially maybe I'm strong enough, and then I take a Shifter Xerus, and then you'll be like, this can also help us. Always take the Xerus. Bad example. I am sorry. But I think that, a lot of people, when they analyze turns, they look at it and it's like, okay, I can take the Murloc or I can take the Zubat. And then the thought process ends right there. They don't break it down into what does the Zubat mean? What does the Murloc mean? Once again, ones and zeros. You want to look past that. And I think once you begin to think like that, the game opens up. Like, Chillwind Yeti is not a Chillwind Yeti. Chillwind Yeti is tempo. Chillwind Yeti means on the next turn you get to deal 2 damage. Break it all down into that. And I think that you try to explain to Twitch chat that idea of breaking it down pretty well, even though they probably never.
What's funny is in learning that part of Battlegrounds, it made me a better constructed player.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I was always bad at arena because I didn't understand like when am I doing tempo, when am I doing defense, stuff like that. And because I couldn't see it in that way, and so then I had to go play a constructed tournament recently, and all the new battlegrounds lessons of like when can I be greedy, when can I go for tempo, stuff like that. I'll fix some of my constructed issues. Made me better, I think. It's actually interesting.
Yeah, because it's the same. These kinds of ones and zeros, they're the fundamentals, and you don't really need like the best grasp of fundamentals to be a really good constructed player. If you know, like, if you have good reads and if you have good maths and you know the percentages of your opponent can draw and what's screwing you over, because it's all about countering stuff.
Right. I used to study just every matchup. Like I knew each deck versus each deck, and I'd study my decks, and I knew how to play my decks versus the specific decks I had to face.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why, you know?
Yeah.
Like I knew the matchup, but I didn't know why. And I think Battlegrounds has helped me realize why. Why is this good here?
Yeah, I think like in Constructed, there's differences between, it's like you can play a deck perfectly, but you might not be able to build a deck, right, to counter the meta. Those are actually different skills, and I think people get confused as to why, and we're addressing that exactly. It's like in order to play a deck perfectly in Constructed, you can still leave out like this understanding of Hearthstone the game itself, and I think BGs by playing that and Arena, got to give credit to to Arena as well. It helps you just understand these grand ideas, right? In which you need to look at this amorphous thing like tempo, and in BG's like your position in the game, and there's no way to ever put that down into a number or quantify it exactly. But you need to know it. Okay. Yes. Well, no. Bob's Buddy does it on any given instance. All right. I'm talking about this amorphous, like, at any given moment.
The amorphous. My bad.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I'm trying to go with this Matrix analogy here that you can't like back me up on, so it's really frustrating. Okay. But anyway, Slysssa, you are very good at Battlegrounds. How can you improve someone who's 5K, who's 7K, and who's 9K?
Yes. And after that, can you end with giving me some tips? Like specifically, since I know you watch me sometimes, and I know you must be sitting there sometimes being like, "Oh my god, what's this guy doing?"
No. So my belief is that is there 4 parts? The 4 parts are
5K, 7K, 9K, and then ADWCTA specifically / maybe weird 10K players.
No, there's weird 10K players, and then there's.
That's fair. I feel like I do play it in a weird way.
So if she gives advice to you, it will be inapplicable to literally everyone listening to this.
Well, unless the people listening to this, which is our podcast, do sometimes watch me and may have learned, been led astray by me over the course of the Battleground streams and guide. I wrote stuff. I've been doing stuff for the Battlegrounds community, whether I should or not, whether I should have this authority or not.
The important thing is you did.
Yes, the important thing is I did, and people liked it, and it's helping people in the real world.
Help is a strong word. Anyway, so let's start with 5K. What would you tell those people?
So I believe it's the 5K people who overvalue composition and triples. Like, okay, so there's composition, triples, leveling, and tempo and size, tempo. Like those are the 4 things to get good at. Is knowing when to level, knowing when to find triples or give up on triples, knowing when to tempo, not tempo, and knowing compositions. And I think at lower levels, people really focus on the composition. They're offered the alley cat turn 1, and they're like, all right, I'm beast. Let's go. We're only buying beasts. And you're just like, please, that is not your comp. You're not beast because you bought alley cat turn 1.
But there's 2 of them.
But yeah, I have 2 beasts already. So like not overvaluing comps early and not overvaluing triples. Like, oh, I have 2 alley cats, so I'm not gonna sell them till I get the 3rd. Stuff like that. I think at every level, whether 5K, 7K, 9K, it's knowing what of those 4 things you're doing over too much or not enough of. Like, are you I think a lot of at the early levels, you're undervaluing leveling, and you're staying on 1 and 2 because you're like, I'm collecting my locks down here. But it's knowing to level on curve. It's knowing to tempo, how important tempo is, and not to greed for the brand stuff. Like, I think that's like more of a 7K thing, though.
Yeah,
little detail.
I think the end game comps down at like 5 or 7K are so like not formed that you can be slower and still get to the point where you are number 1, as compared to the higher
much
levels.
Slower.
Yeah.
And it's harder. Like, once you're at higher ranks, you have to play faster, or you're going to get beaten down because they're leveling faster. So it's kind of interesting. I've played lower ranked games where I lost because I just power leveled. I'm like, I'm leveling, but no one else is. And then all of a sudden they have this crazy combo. I'm like, wait, those are a bunch of 3 drops. What's happening?
So I have played on Asia a little bit, and the end game comps actually look exactly like the end game comps that you see streamers have every high MMRs. They just get there a lot slower. Right, like so they'll do the same. They'll have the double, triple mama bear. They'll have the Bran, Murlocs. They'll have all of that stuff, the double mackerels. But they'll just take a very inefficient / wrong route in order to get there. But everyone else is taking inefficient routes to get wherever the heck they are going as well. So I think that's a difficulty for some people at 5K because they're like, well, other people get these things. Why am I not getting them?
So they hyper roll.
Yeah.
Hyper roll for the triples instead of being willing to let go, or like not seeing that this card and this card that Bob's offering is going to be bigger on your board than the current ones. So instead of trying to find things that match it, to get rid of them, get bigger. Get bigger things. Size is good. Little things like that. Not knowing when to give up a N'Zoth triple. Like, it's not going to happen, man.
So we've been talking about 5K, or like we asked about 5K, but I think a lot of this advice also applies to 7K. The 7K, or
it's more like refining, right?
Yeah. Do you think that there's something within the 7K group? And I'll ask you to think back on your climb on your alt accounts. Around there, do you see any prevalent sort of issues with people that you might think is preventing them from getting to 9K?
Yeah, I think greed plays over. So like I think at that point they know what the what endgame looks like, right? I know that the endgame Murlocs has Bran and a bunch of Murlocs and Divine Shield Poison. And I want that. So they'll triple a 4-drop to get a 5-drop, right? And they're like, oh, there's Bran. I'm going to take Bran because Bran's what I need. But in actuality, Bran at that point is a 2/4. And if you're offered Gurgle, that's adding 4 times, if you have 6 Murlocs, is 24 stats at least plus the 6/3. So the tempo of a Gurgle is insane, which would allow you to level to 5 and get the brand and the other stuff.
Right.
So it's like knowing the difference between, can I greed for a brand or must I find tempo plays to get into the top 4? And knowing that, hey, I don't need to get first every time. I just need to get top 4. Top 4 is what you climb with. And I think that's kind of where I was at. I kept going for first instead of going for top 4. So I'd make greed plays like that. The brand will win me. And then I'd die. And I'm like, what happened? Well, you just missed like 40 bajillion stats because you missed the Gurgle. like things like that.
And I think that for 8K players, one thing that's very specific that I think will immediately improve your results is 8 gold turn. Because I think people start going crazy. Like they start just like unleashing themselves immediately at 8 gold. Everyone knows that, before then there's a very specific structure. And on 7 gold,
the curve. The curve of to get to 8 gold, right?
Yep, exactly. So on 7 gold, you level and you buy a unit, and you're good. And no one really deviates from that. I'm not going to mention like suicide leveling and all of that stuff. But on 8 gold, suddenly, the world is your oyster, and I see a lot of people just not tempo at that point. They're like, okay, now I will only buy premium 3 drops, or I'll only buy premium 3 drops that also work with my tier 2 units. And they might spend 8 gold to just buy 1 unit, which is wrong. Like that's really, really scary.
Gotta sell that 3/4 dragon, grab 3 things that are buffed, and be like, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's juicy. You gotta love.
God. So good.
That is like the juiciest turn. But so I think that's something very specific that you see people like adhering to the basic structure. They're like, okay, yep, I know this. And on 8 gold, they're like, all right, I'm only buying the very best units, and then they only buy
Cobalt or
one
nothing.
unit. Yeah,
I
exactly.
want Cobalt.
Yeah, guys. Also, if you're aiming for Cobalt, you might be disappointed that Bob is not offering it to you.
There's a mini Cobalt. It's fine.
There is a mini Cobalt, much worse initially. But past that point as well, I think people need to be a lot more comfortable with being uncomfortable with your lack of, composition.
Yeah, don't say the word comp yet.
Sorry.
It's not a comp at 8. Unless it is. Unless you're Flurgle.
This is true. All right, that's what Flurgle. Okay, sorry. You need to be comfortable with your mishmash of crud. All right, that's what I'm gonna call it. The floating amoeba of nothingness. You need to be very comfortable with that and just get stats, right? You need to, but during that time, because I tell this to people, I think, and they're just like, oh, okay, I'll accept it, but it's like I have no idea what I'm doing. You need to actively be thinking as well. It's like, okay,
what can this turn into? Yeah.
Yes.
What can this be? And you can look at the deck. If you have Hearthstone deck tracker enabled, you can look up to the tier 4s and be like, what could help here, or what could help here, and what can this turn into? What makes this better?
Yes. Slysssa, can you elaborate on that? That's like exactly where I was going. We're like the same person, separated from birth. We look alike. I understand. Please continue.
Yeah, it's just like, because sometimes you have a mishmash. You have like piloted shredder, and then you have a rat, and then you have a the bronze warden dragon with the divine shield, and you're like, I don't know what this is. This is I don't know. But then you're like, you know what? If I get to 4 and stay on 4 for a second, I can grab an Anoia module, and put it on the shredder, or another mech that I find up there, and then I can even grab like a Bolvar or something. Now I have a start to a divine shield, and the rat is tempo. It's there until I find something better, but it's fine for now.
The best tempo.
Something like that. Or then maybe you find a Savannah Jaime, and you're like, oh, maybe this could be Beast instead, and you start to pick things off that is no longer the biggest thing on board. That like you look at your board, you're like, what's the smallest thing here that doesn't contribute, and you can start like filling in the slots better. That makes sense. But yeah, and that's probably the leveling thing too. People want to level on curve, right? Because you learn the curve of the leveling. But then you might be leveling to something that doesn't matter. Like people want to level to 5, and you're like, well, what's actually going to help you at 5? If you're going Divine Shield, nothing at 5 really helps you unless you're tripling into a Holy Mackerel, which is 6. So maybe you should go to 5 then. Something like that.
I think that's really important. It's like plan out your plan your outs, right? Like even if you have nothing currently, play towards your outs. Recognize what are your outs even. So and to those of you guys who played poker, you'll understand immediately. But this is something that you just have to do. You might not have direction right now, but you need to be prepared in the best way possible. If you're ever rolling and you don't have a comp, but you don't even know what you're rolling for, you made a mistake. Like you have to at least know what things, if I am presented with them, are good for me. You don't want to roll into it and then look at the units and be like, okay, now is this good for me? That's when you're a step behind. And when you're a step behind, that's not good.
Or you might even just see something so there's certain cards that are just kind of like filler cards, like a piloted shredder. It's just the stats on the turn. there's certain cards that like make up the meat of a comp, which would be something like I might level to 4 and see an Iron Sensei, and I'm like, well, it's just a 2/2, but it starts to buff something, and I can annoy a module that, and I can develop it. So you might see a pair of things that when they work together, they do really well, and you can get them onto your board. Like you see the starter pack, I like to call it. That gives you the starter pack direction.
And those are really nice because they keep you afloat for a while, even if you don't end up using it, like in your final comp. Because if you like get a brand or something, maybe you'll switch up everything altogether.
Yep.
All right, so now we have players who understand the basics, who are pretty good at the game, all right, who are 9K or maybe even 9.5K, but they want to be like their hero, Slysssa, and be 11K plus. How do they become like you?
Don't play salty.
That's it. We're done. Boom.
Because when you play salty, you get greedy. Greed. Don't be greedy. Like, if you're at that point, if you're getting to 9.5, you're probably decent, and you're either playing too greedy or playing nervous or something. Because I think psychological is huge. You hit this like, I'm so close to 10K and I can't hit it. Why? It's because it's mental, and it's these like little mental games. And so like for me, if I get a first place, my next game, I play so greedy, and I'll just get 8th and tank the rank that I just got first with, and I'm like, my points are just gained. I just lost all of them because I played greedy the next game.
I think that's something everyone does. Like, I think if people just track when they get their 8th place finishes, the percent chance that they got a first place finish the game before is huge.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're feeling good. You feel like you're on top of the world. Nothing can touch you. And then suddenly, bam, you just get smacked in the face.
Especially if you're back-to-backing Flurgle. That has happened to me almost every single time I back-to-back Flurgle.
Yep.
Imagine playing Flurgle. Oh my gosh.
Who would do that? Who got tricked into that game? Yeah, I think it's tracking what you do mentally. Like when I'm salty, I salt roll. Like I just roll.
Oh God.
Like a mad woman, like or like our friend Sunglitters, if she's salty, she levels. She's like, nothing's good, I'm leveling. Like it's just greed levels, and everyone has their thing. It's just knowing what's your thing that is psychologically there. And then again, not always going for that first place endgame comp. You're not always going for Holy Mackerel. You're not always going for dragons. Like knowing to go for top 4 or top 3 once you get too high.
Wow. You know, I didn't ask for you to call out Sunglitters during the answer, but I'm glad you incorporated that into it. Thank you. She is also, a previous guest on this podcast. She even co-hosted it with you, ADWCTA.
Yeah. Last year, actually, around this time, like sometime in May, we had Sunglitters on talking about the arena. Back then, she was a dedicated arena player. Now, you know, like all the other arena players.
She was hosting arena tournaments.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. How times have changed. Oh man. So I think your advice about 9K players is very apt. Just because if you're 9K and especially like 9.5K, you have the tools. You just have to focus, concentrate. And for you 9.5K players, a lot of it is about, okay, let's study the meta a little bit. How fast are people tearing up? Like you do have to study the game outside of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
The meta changes within metas. Like I've noticed like you can be when the meta changes, like when there's new cards or something like that, you can go for Murlocs easier or something because people are trying new cards out. They're being slower. So you can kind of there's just like little things. Now people are figuring out Ralph comp. So if you have 2 people in your lobby going Ralph comp, you can abuse Murlocs. But that just happened where you could like because it's
wait what comps?
Meta evolves.
Ralph is Soralisk.
Oh,
sorry, I call him Ralph.
Okay. I'm like, what is a Ralph? Do I not know this card?
We should have just played along and be like, wait, you don't know it's like the invincible Ralph? It's like it's been in the game for a long time. Do you literally not take that card when it comes along?
Yeah. But there's certain comms, like there's certain things that change mid expansion. Even though, like nothing's changed in weeks, but things will change.
Mm-hmm.
The leveling, the hyper leveling, like it's sometimes slow, sometimes fast. Certain days, I find weekends are different than weekdays. Nights are different. Yeah, when people are drunk, it's a lot easier to climb.
Friday and Saturday nights, folks.
Yep,
That's when to
get
level.
online. Yeah, really interesting.
So yeah, I think that's good advice for people, and like at the end of the day, guys, there's going to be variance. Okay, it's good. It's a large sample size necessary for you to appropriately say it. It's like, oh, I'm stuck here or stuck there. We've all gone through huge swings. Slysssa, you and I have gone through huge swings in MMR, even very recently.
Yes. My biggest fall was 2.5 thousand.
Oh my god.
God.
Oh.
That's more MMR than Twitch chat has. Yeah. So
I stopped playing for like a week when I lost 1,000 MMR. I'm like, I'm done with this for a while. I need to reset.
I'm the type of person that's like, oh, I lost it. I'm gonna get it back now. I'm gonna get it back now, and I say it every game. It's like, it's not coming back, is it?
The tavern up button is the I'm gonna get it back now button, right?
Yeah. That was during the hyper level. I didn't realize it was a hyper level meta, and like once you start playing with others and watching others, you learn. Like that's when I started playing with Sun more, Sun Glitters, and she taught me to level more in a more greedy fashion than I was used to. And it taught me a lot about knowing how to level and when to level and what's greedy and what's not. So got the ranks back. It just took time. You lose them faster than you gain them. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, yes you do. Going from 11.9 to 11.1, boom, so easy. Going from 11.1 to 10.4, so easy.
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 Getting back to 11.9?
Okay, well, I'm not back to 11.9. So
you're
not easy because I haven't done that yet. But it's fine. All right, Slysssa, let me ask you, as a person who's played BGs a ton, with the consideration that this is still a beta game, all right? If you have complete control over Blizzard for a day, you're head honcho, you can do anything that you want with, let's say, any of the game modes, constructed, arena, and BGs. What would you do? What would you want changed in terms of kind of, the UI, cards, rules, whatever?
First of all, I'd put wild people in their place and just delete it.
Oh.
Sick of the complaints over there.
All right. Delete. What about the arena? What about those people? What would you do to Dreads, the only arena player left? What would you do to him?
I'd say, you know what? Deal with it.
Deal with it.
I don't know. I get the frustration that there's no leaderboard in arena. Like I get that because as someone who pays attention to the battleground leaderboard, I would feel like, what is this working towards? So I get that. And I don't know. I don't know what I'd do with arena just because I've never enjoyed it. But
so you're in the same place as Blizzard.
Just leave.
I know for a fact that Wild should be. Okay, so this is my thing about Wild. To explain my point of view, they created Wild so that people who enjoyed the cards could still play them without having to delete them and create. The more cards in constructed, the more cards there are, the harder it is to keep it balanced. Balance is very important. People complain about balance all the time. The more cards, the harder it is to balance. So that's why you see when a new year starts, it's the most balanced, and it's the least balanced once the third expansion of the year is hit, because there's the most cards. But these people, they're like, you know what? We don't want to just delete the cards, so we'll put them over here, and people can still play them. Then the complaints about it being fair and balanced happens all the time. I'm like, this is a graveyard. It can't be balanced. That's why they put the cards over there, like, because it can't logically be balanced. And I just think that it's a stupid argument. Like, I hate the argument. I hate when seeing the wild complaints. for that reason. I just delete it.
In order to balance a game mode like Wild, and like I've gone through this like philosophical exercise with the people at Gods Unchained to like about what they're going to do in the future. And in order to balance a place like Wild, it would affect every set that you release. And you will have to do a double balancing every set. That sounds like very obvious, but I think a lot of players don't quite understand that. Where if you had a strong Murloc set at any time in the past, and then you had like no strong beast set yet, you would have to essentially create another set if you wanted to do Murlocs and still have Wild be balanced, another beast set at the same time, or at the very least for those 3 months, it's going to be imbalanced. So it's not impossible, it's just you really have to commit to it, and you can't like power creep unless you power creep evenly across all like types of decks you're allowing people to create, and it just becomes a ridiculous burden. And Blizzard's obviously not doing that and hasn't done it, so they're already screwed when it comes to Wild balance. Like, it's unfixable at this point, no matter what they do.
People realize when they're balancing like 9 months in advance. So right, like the cards that they put out now are cards that they've made cards for like a year out, and they're constantly seeing how once you add this expansion in, what's it like. We're gonna make a card that comes out in 9 months. It's not gonna be in yet. So then people are like, why aren't you buffing this card? This card needs to be buffed. This class sucks. And they're like, well, if we buffed it, then in 6 months when it gets added, it's gonna be broken. And so people don't see that like there's gonna be ebbs and flows of certain classes, because this class is gonna get super strong in 6 months when this one card is released. But if we strengthen this stuff now, then it'd be too powerful in 6 months. And so I don't think everyone knows all the logistics that they deal with. But I ask about it a lot because I'm curious. So that's my point of view on Wild. That's why I don't like it.
It makes a lot of sense. And every single announcement they make relegating a card to Wild is exactly like you said. It's like, oh, this is unhealthy. It sucks. It promotes these bad habits. That's why it's in Wild. Have fun, Wild players.
Exactly. That's why things get Hall of Famed. And people are like, why is this card Hall of Famed? And they don't realize that the reason it's getting Hall of Famed is for a card that's going to be released in 9 months. And you might not see it now, but in 9 months you'd see it, and you'd be like, oh, that'd be broken. And that's why they changed it. They were planning ahead. So I always think it's an interesting topic. Wild.
Okay, so you're gonna delete Wild permanently. Yes.
So they stop complaining, because I hate complainers. So like, stop.
Excellent. I love that. What would you change about Constructed and BGs, if anything?
Constructed. What would I change about Constructed? I don't really know. I feel like I've had things in the past that I'd want changed. Obviously, like my play in Battlegrounds right now is just the once you get to the high levels, it's so hard to climb.
Oh my god.
I feel like I was behind because, again, I started Battlegrounds way later than everyone else. So I feel like I'm just like grasping to try to catch up to people who had months of advantage. So I would like a reset. I think there should be seasons. I don't think it should be a month season like standard. I could see a 3-month season. I think I'd like that. But I understand it's hard to know, like, do you reset to the beginning, or do you reset, like, do you lose like 2,000 ranks or something? Yeah. Like, or do you get put into a section, and it's in beta, so that's all kind of free flowing. It might happen, it might not. We don't know. So
yeah, the problem I see right now with the leaderboard and the MMR system is, like, Victor is a great example of what's wrong with it, in that he got his main account up to, at that time, #1 in North America, and then he left it, and then he went to play on his Smurf account. And here's the thing, like, an important thing is for any MMR system or ranking system to, within a reasonable amount of time, rank you where you should be. But it took Victor, I think, like 400 hours approximately, like give or take 100 hours, which it doesn't really matter, to even get close to where he was. And I'm not saying he's like, the bar isn't getting his Smurf to like #1 NA, right? Because that didn't happen. but to even just get within like the top 15, right? Which I think we all recognize Victor is a very good player, and that's just not reasonable. Like you can't have a system in which to get someone to where they belong, it takes like 500 hours. And it's because of the MMR inflation, and it's because of never resetting it. So you have to have a huge sample size in order to prove yourself within the current system.
That's my biggest complaint, but I understand also that I am in the 0.001%. It might not be the biggest deal, you know. Like if your company looks at the casual, at the standard person, that standard person might get mad that they lost their ranks, and unless there was like a set, like you're gonna fall this 2,000 or something, and unless you're below 4K, then we're gonna put you back at 4K, back to the starting line, kind of thing. But I kind of like season reset. I think I'd want that.
I think a lot of people would. I think it would also create a ton of excitement, right? In terms of, we have a lot of excitement right now about BGs, but if you want to get people really excited, it's like, all right, let's have a race. Because right now it's not a race; it's right. People parked at a place, and then just like everyone else, like just crawling and inching and punching each other along the way to try to like get there. And once they get there, it's like, okay, now I'm gonna park here.
Well, and so now the standard meta of what streamer does, I look at streamer meta, we've talked about this, is to create some sort of goal. So we've seen Victor's had goals of 13K, I'm shaving my head. Show, same one, 13K, or shaving my head. Me, 12K or else.
Or you're shaving your head.
I wasn't gonna shave my head. But you create these like mini incentives to bring people back, because that's all you can do at that point, is just like create a mini goal, or to do best of fives with somebody. So there's not that like rat race or anything. It's just this like creating your own kind of competition in your head, and like, I'm gonna get this or else.
Or else. Oh. You better watch out.
You know what? I do like that. So I talked to devs a lot, but in other auto battlers, they'll make too big of a change. They like, we're swapping everything out, all new stuff, and it's too big, or it's too often. That was, I think, TFT's biggest issue, is they change things way too often. No casual player could keep up. It only kept the tryhards happy, and that's again the 0.1%. And as a business model, I don't believe that you should do that. So I think something that Hearthstone's been good at is to change things every few weeks. Though what I don't like is that we don't really have dates. Like I would like it to be a consistent schedule. Like every X amount of months, every 3 months or whatever, new cards like dragons or whatever. And we had dates to look forward to. Or then like every like this amount of days or weeks is like a mini change, and you like knew the days and times that those mini changes would be announced, because they do that, they make mini changes, but you don't know that they're gonna make it, and it'd be, I think, better for them if they had dates set out. Mini changes and master changes.
If you look back, Soralisk was a little bit ago. When did Cobalt leave for Deflector? That was like 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago.
It was after Dragons, but it was when the new expansion was released, and because it was like a week before the new expansion, because Felfin was supposed to join it. Yeah. Felfin didn't join because that didn't join until a new expansion hit.
So it must
have been around April 1st-ish.
Yeah, it was the end of March or April 1st, and we're at the end of May, June 1st. March 26th? Okay. Yep. So we are now 9 weeks from there, and Soralisk was, what, 2 weeks ago? So that's approximately. So that's a 7-week gap between switching out a single minion. Like, that felt very slow, and that was when they did
that was a long...
Yeah, and that was when they nerfed, they did the Millhouse change around the same time, right?
I think they changed Millhouse within it. Didn't they change, like, 1 or 2 other things with the Millhouse?
They changed Millhouse. No, they changed Millhouse like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then they added the new heroes more recently. But their pace
like that
when
they can add new heroes and it changes the way the game feels altogether.
Yeah. I mean, these heroes didn't really though, right?
As well.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So,
I would think they should have a new minion every month. I think that's a good target, even for casuals. Like at least one.
Like if we were told the first of the month, every month we're gonna get an announcement, and
we're gonna swap out a minion or add a minion.
Like if we knew a date of an announcement every month that something would happen and a day to look forward to. But right now it's just kind of like something. All of a sudden, everyone's like, "Did you hear the announcement?" You're like, "God, where? Twitter, let's go!" And you panic, and you just don't know when it's coming.
In 2 hours, we're gonna add a new minion to Battlegrounds.
Yeah, it just changes. You're like, "Oh God, I didn't know."
Yeah, because right now this is what we have with expansions. We know when expansions are coming out. There's a set schedule. So if the meta is good, we can look forward to it because it's like, oh, like let's see how it shifts things up. Like this is a fun meta. I can't wait for the next one. If it's bad, you have something to look forward to. It's like, oh well, at least we're gonna have a different meta. And no matter what, you have something to look forward to, right? Look, having something to look forward to is always important for gamers. So I think that's a great idea. Just having something in which the changes don't have to be huge, but an announcement at the beginning of the month saying, okay, this month we're changing 3 units. Next month we're just changing whatever. We're swapping out a hero and putting in another hero. They don't even have to make new content, right? They can just say, okay, like for example, Brand the hero is back and we're taking out Putricide. Get out of here.
No, not Putricide.
All right, so how many times have you played Putricide?
Semantics. I don't know.
No, sorry, but you want Putricide there so people can misclick on it when they're drunk on Friday and Saturday nights, and you take their MMR. I understand. Okay, so I think that is a good sort of change. Would you change anything within Battlegrounds specifically, like units or heroes, or just sort of like something very minute about the game? Say holy mackerel. Say holy mackerel.
Oh, I love holy mackerel.
Oh,
it's so fun when it's like ding dong, and it's like bouncing until it happens to you, and then you just flip a table. But it never happens to me. I'm the Murloc queen. They would never betray me like that.
Never.
I'm trying to think because there's been a couple things that I've wanted, and now I can't. Quite obviously, my biggest want is to create your own lobby of up to 8 people. I would love to host a tournament. I would love, that's all I want. And I know they've been working on it. I know it's like in the pipeline, and it's something they want as well. And I don't know if I'm not supposed to say that, or I am, but it's being worked on. It's just not ready.
Exclusively coming from the Lightforge podcast, we have the scoop. I mean, look,
they're clearly working on things like that. Like, it's too low hanging of a fruit.
It's too good. It's too good. You think about it, and you're just like, this would create so much hype. It would get everyone super duper excited. The dramas, okay, like. Oh my gosh. Like Slysssa, we trash talk each other enough right now. Imagine the trash talk that would ensue once we have custom lobbies. It would be absolutely insane. But I hope it comes
our
up.
own GM system.
What would be the rewards? Are you gonna like
money?
Okay, money. I thought we could do something more creative, like well, you do those cooking streams, right? And then we can winner has to I don't know.
Everyone.
Yeah, I was like, wait, no, winner gets to eat. Winner doesn't. This doesn't make any sense. I didn't think this thing very thorough. Okay, look, the creative rewards. Okay, you guys think of it, not me. I'm just here. But yes, I wouldn't like that. I do believe that custom lobbies are they would blow the game mode wide open. I think people are itching for something like this. One great example is your recent rivalry / challenge with Show, right? You want to talk a little bit about that? I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. So for those who watch Show or doesn't watch it, Show does best of 5s with other streamers. He's done a lot with RDU and with Amaz, and I wanted in. I was like, yo, can I get a best of? And so he gave me a best of 3. And so most people, when he's normally doing the bets, he's betting subs. Like the loser has to gift him subs, or he has to gift the other streamer subs. I personally, I was like, I don't need subs. No, let's do for like something entertaining. If I win, you have to sing a song. And of course, I made the song Maria because his chat always asks for Maria. He took the bet because obviously he thought he was going to beat me. And if I don't even remember what I had to do if I lost. Oh,
was it Barbie
no,
Girl?
I had to do a cosplay of him.
So you had to shave your head.
I was gonna put my hood on and wear glasses or something, and just like talk about houses and fish a lot. I don't know. So I did Conquer show, and he had to sing Maria, which he went full screen for it. Like he did a good job. So obviously he wanted his comeback and offered me another best of 5 this time. Best of 5, where I said, okay, if I win, you have to sing Barbie Girl.
Yeah, I remember.
I had to sing Barbie Girl, and if I lost, I had to give up alcohol for a week. I couldn't have my canned wine for a week.
Well, that's dangerous for you. I don't.
Yeah,
wow.
I was like, taking away my wine for a full week. That's how rude. So because he knows that sometimes when I drink wine, I play better. So obviously I grabbed the wine for this best of 5. I was down 2. I was 0-2, and I was like, I'm done for. But luckily, it wasn't best of 3 this time. It was best of 5. I made an epic comeback. I think I got first and second for the next 3 lobbies. I kept deleting him from the lobbies. And he had to sing Barbie Girl, which I think he deleted the VOD of. I can't find it. Well, we grabbed a clip, and we had a clip in my stream, and then all of a sudden the clip was gone. So I don't know if he deleted it or if the VOD's gone or what's happened, but he sang Barbie Girl. He sang the whole song and his stream. He was done.
I saw this live. All right, look, the internet remembers, okay? Yeah. Someone out there must have preserved it in some capacity. This has to be like this, the Barbra Streisand effect, which like, you try to get rid of it, you try to ignore it, but it'll perpetuate, okay? It's out there. I thought that was super cool because I watched it in live time. All right, I watched the singing, and it got people so hyped up, right? And that was just 2 streamers having a competition, going at it.
Sunglitters has the link.
Oh, it's on YouTube now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, see,
now it's forever.
You can't delete it from the internet. Come on. But that is something that people are itching for. Like these days. Yeah. Slysssa, when you just randomly queue up into someone like Collins or Sunglitters, Victor, Dog, etc., you can sense people in your chat are immediately a little bit more active, right? They're hyped.
Like it's super excited when they see another streamer in your lobby.
Yeah, and you can only imagine if we were able to set up an 8-player tournament lobby. Have all these fun incentives as well, right? Like these cosplay and singing things. So I really hope they do it soon. Like we're not lacking for content. I think people still enjoy seeing it. There's lots of educational value, but come on, KEKW, education. People want to see drama, right? Yeah. People want to see the kind of stuff that they want to see. So
Blizzard, something to root for.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that I know viewers want, and I know you as the cutthroat competitor also really want. All right. So please, Blizzard, please, if you're listening, I know you're not listening, but if you're listening, please do it soon. Okay. So we've talked about sort of what you want to see for BGs. I'm going to ask you what you think is going to happen with BG. This is a little bit different than what you want to happen, right? What do you think is going to happen with BG?
I want it to be very similar to what's already happening in the sense that new stuff every couple months and tweaks every few weeks. I hope that continues. I hope for the 8-player lobby. I hope for more events, more fun events that they could host with it. That'd be cool. Honestly, I've always been more on the streamer side than the competitive side, and I stay competitive for my stream. But I have a competitive itch for Battlegrounds that I would love there to be more competition in it. That's more like a planned competition. I think it would be big if they did like once a month tournaments or something. I don't know. I think it'd be fun events.
That'd be fun. Even if and I think, even if you weren't able to participate in it, all streamers and all content creators would benefit from it, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of one of those things in which everyone gains from it, even if they aren't able to compete, because it just generates that interest.
I disagree. Nope, I disagree with that.
Disagree? Okay.
When I played Standard and GM was on Twitch, I lost like half my viewers. And it
is this the same time or just like generally?
Like so in May or April was like my highest viewership ever on Twitch in Standard, so last April or May. And then Grandmaster started, and I took a huge hit, because I wasn't a Grandmaster, so I took a hit during those streams, and then I couldn't climb. Like it hurt me a lot. I thought it would help, but it didn't.
Yeah, I remember the Grandmaster streams. It was on like every day. It felt every day.
Yeah, it was all the time.
It was on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 15 hours a day. So there was no time to get on that it wasn't on, because Asia was on, then Europe was on, then NA was on. So the only time it wasn't on was between like 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's the only time you could stream away from it. And so if you were streaming during it, you'd lose your viewers because they wanted to watch that. And then the GM streamers obviously grew their stream because they were being promoted all the time. And if you weren't a GM, then you weren't seen, you weren't promoted. So,
well, it's either going to be a lot better or a lot worse now. It's going to be better because they're on YouTube now, and less people are watching them. No matter what Blizzard's going to do, they have that relationship.
I have no idea what's happening in GM this season, because one, they made it really confusing, and two, it's on YouTube, so I don't know. And I don't play Standard anymore, so.
Back when it was on Twitch, I would watch, and I used to be a pretty regular viewer. Like, I basically live on Twitch. I just hop from stream to stream. It doesn't matter where I'm. Like, Slysssa, you see me working. Yeah. I have no life. But it's easy for me to get there. Like, YouTube, I don't understand YouTube. Like, how they structured it. I don't know when they're actually live. I don't know how exactly to get there. This sounds really boomer of me, I know, but I swear the YouTube, Slysssa, can you back me up here? YouTube is confusing, right?
I've studied Twitch meta. I know a lot about Twitch. I know nothing about YouTube. I've tried to make a YouTube for myself. It's not been successful. I don't know how to make it successful, and I'm just like, I don't know. Stay over here on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's its own thing, and the live streams is super confusing because they'll show you like upcoming ones, but they'll show the upcoming ones higher up than they'll show the live one, and you're like, wait, there's a live one? Like, it's weird.
Yeah, like I had a few points where it promoted something heavily that was going to happen on the next day, but to me, it seemed like, I was like, oh, okay, I'll click on it, and then nothing happens. I'm like, oh, it's tomorrow, and I'm just like very confused. And then there are times in which something is live, but they're not promoting it, even though I'm subscribed to it. And then I gave up on it.
Because you're used to, like, Twitch has the one page. If you're live, you can see it. If they're not live, you can go to the VODs, right?
Yeah.
It seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like YouTube has different links for the different videos, because that's where it will be stored or something like that.
I feel like they treat streams the same as videos, but in like an even more confusing way. So I can't tell them apart, and they don't really separate it in that way because they're like, oh, it's just like videos. It's either live videos or video videos, but it's all videos, in which case it's like, no, it's not just video.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So we talked a lot about things. All right. Slysssa, would you say we talked a lot about things? Things.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I feel like I talked a lot about myself.
Well, that's the point. That's why we had you. I don't. We took.
Embarrassed.
It took an hour and a half for you to figure out that we a lot of the reason why we want to bring you on was to talk about you. This is okay. Learning. We're learning. Okay. But
What about you?
Let's talk about me. Oh my gosh.
Pizza?
I do like pizza. I ate pizza today. It was fantastic. All right. The pizza meta has completely changed, by the way, during the quarantine. But that's for another time. If you want to address the pizza
what?
meta,
I'm interested. The pizza meta hasn't changed for me. What am I missing? Am I behind?
Tuna pizza. It's all the rage in Europe.
Please do not.
It is. We learned this. That Europeans like tuna pizza, and I can't understand it.
Okay, no. Do Europeans like tuna pizza, or does Sun Glitters like tuna pizza?
No, it's Europeans. Europeans like tuna pizza, and they
like
think it's
tuna
normal.
fish,
and
like just the fish put into the cheese.
Yes, the tuna fish on the cheese, and it's normal there. It's like a standard like pepperoni pizza. It's a tuna pizza.
But just the tuna fish.
I think it's great. Tuna pizza is amazing.
And it tastes like the tuna that we know.
Yeah, it's like canned tuna.
It's like the Bumblebee brand, like canned tuna, just on a pizza.
Yep.
Okay.
Eat that.
Disgusting.
And here we are debating pineapple when I'm like, why aren't we debating tuna?
There's no debate. It's wrong. Okay? Because there's no debate. It's wrong. All right. You have right and you have wrong. Look, I'm always a big believer in that you need to study the arguments. You need to look at the history of things, consider both sides. But there are also other times you just have to recognize that people are wrong. And if you're for tuna, you are incorrect.
It's so bad. I never even had it, but I can guarantee you that it's bad. Do they use a different kind of cheese for pizza, or do they call it pizza, but it's not actually the pizza we know?
No, it's just straight up. I asked, I was like, wait, is it like a sushi tuna? And then they don't.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was like,
but
trying
no.
to figure it out. No, it's just pizza with tuna on it.
Okay.
So if I just go to Europe, this will be like on the menu.
Yes.
No.
It's like okay, like to me, I tried to ask if it was like anchovy pizza, where it's like something no one orders,
right?
But they said everyone orders it there. Like people like tuna pizza.
No, that can't be. No, maybe like one country.
Chat, but they're telling you. They're telling you.
Like I could see it if like Norway likes it, but oh no. No, that's too much. I can't deal with this. Let's talk about something else.
Do you guys order anchovy pizza or no?
Like, sometimes anchovies come on things. Like if you get like a certain type, like a specialty pizza, they like put anchovies on it because it's part of the whole thing. But other than that, I don't see anyone ordering it. Oh, there was one time where we got delivered the wrong pizza, and the pizza literally had the following 3 toppings on it. It was banana peppers, anchovies, and mushrooms. We did not finish that pizza.
They were delivering that to some serial killer, okay? Like that person that was that was receiving it was in the process of just like, okay, never mind.
I would eat 2 of the 3, but
well, it is important that it is all 3. Okay, that's what makes a combination. But okay, so Slysssa, other than pizza, was there anything you want to talk about, whether it's like BGs or constructed or life, like within this podcast, to reach out to all of our listeners and make sure that they know about?
No.
Good. Excellent.
I don't know. We could talk about my dogs. They're great. I love them.
You do have very nice dogs. Would you like to introduce your dogs?
Well, I have just the one with me right now, because she has a separation anxiety. This is Luna. All my dogs are named after Hearthstone cards.
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're all mages.
My God, they're all. I thought they were just names.
No, Pyra is named after Pyroblast and Pirate Rose. I have it on my wall. You can't see it. And then Nova is Frost Nova. And this is Luna. They're all mages.
Because I've known the names of your dog for forever. I never made this connection until now.
They're all 4 letters. They're all end with an A.
Wow, you are such a Hearthstone nerd. Holy cow. Okay. Excellent. Wow, like dedication to your craft, okay? This is but yes, make sure you check out Slysssa and her stream because you can see more of her puppers. You can see
redeem points to see dogs.
Yes. She also has some of the best emotes on Twitch. I am personally a fan of Sliss Poop. All right. Also, the scam train, you can get on the scam train. So Slysssa, if they wanted to learn more about you, see more of you, and learn from you, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Twitch at Slysssa. Slysssa has 4 S's, 3 are consecutive. SLYSSSA. Very confusing. I do apologize. I also have a Twitter where I try and be funny and post Battlegrounds related stuff. Those are the 2 main places you could find me. I stream every single day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I take 2 days off a month for mental health. But every day I'll be on at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and I stream until I feel like passing out, which is normally 8 hours-ish. So, yeah. You always have a place to hang out in my channel. I try to be friendly.
Yep. Definitely check out Slysssa. She explains her plays very well. Also has cute puppers and very tantalizing cooking streams. Those are
every so often I do a cooking stream. So, and then I describe taste.
Describe taste. Yeah. Okay, so Slysssa, thank you so much for being on here. This has been very helpful. With any luck, you have raised Twitch chat from 4K to no, probably it's still 4K.
I was
they're
hopeless.
Of them. They are hopeless, but I think they enjoyed this. So thank you for coming on. We hope to have you again when 8-player lobbies are here and we can talk about all the possibilities of 8-player lobbies. But yeah, until then, ADWCTA, you want to take us home?
Yeah. All right. Well, until next week, this is ADWCTA.
This is Merps. Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right. We are out.
So you can stop that. This is a long podcast. Slysssa, thank you for putting up with us. Thanks for putting up with us.
No, it was fun.
This is good.
Wait, okay, yeah. Save project.
Save project, yeah.
Save project.
As.
Wait for it to save and then export, which will take like a minute.
Name it Flippity Floppity.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, the perfect name. The perfect name. So yeah, guys, Slysssa always streams. She always streams. So make sure you
So are you playing after the streams as well? Because I match up with you a lot.
Yes.
Like more than any other streamer, I'm in your lobbies.
Yeah, I play off stream a lot. Like I go and watch TV in my bedroom and play on my phone. I play on my phone if I'm off stream. So, yeah. So if I play bad, I actually feel like I played better on my phone, even though I have less information.
You play good. Whenever I face you, you're always like, "Well, I don't know how good it is, but you finish ahead of me more often than not."
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I need to be doing something at all times, and I like the game.
Liking the game, KEKW.
No.
What a nerd.
No streamer actually likes their game, right?
Oh gosh. Okay, so yeah, flippity flop. Can you export the audio as an OGG Vorbis file and also send that? Thank you. Yeah, so you want to export the audio, and then the audio type, you want to select OGG Vorbis, and if you could send that, that would be great. She likes the game KEKW, I know.
How dare I?
How dare
you remember, like, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like 2 years ago and before, where every single streamer was like, I hate the game, like, pretty vocally.
Yeah.
Like, that, it was such a weird time.
Year.
Right, yeah, even last year.
There's a lot of streamers that I talked to who just were playing the hours they needed to, and that was the time a lot of them switched to TFT.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. BGs really gave Hearthstone the shot in the arm that it needed.
Yeah.
Without BGs, I don't know. I don't know where we'd be at. Like, you saw that it's like before BGs, even the people that were insanely popular, like Crip, right? His viewership was going down drastically. And Crip is like just the best, in my opinion. He's like the best barometer for what the general public interest in Hearthstone is, because he just gets like people of all types, and he has a very unique time slot. So before BGs came out, like, his numbers were really struggling. Well, struggling for Crip, which is vastly successful for everyone else. Yeah. But like, yeah. And now his numbers are, really, really good. Near sort of his peak, like 2.5 years ago, or just like 2 years ago. But yeah, I take his numbers and his success as like a general sort of like barometer of what people's interests are and how successful Hearthstone is doing. And people like Battlegrounds. It's simple to play. I have quite a few friends who play Battlegrounds. They would never touch Constructed, but they, and they're not gamers, right? They're not like quote unquote gamers. They just like.
Yeah, I have a friend he's a Olympic swimmer, and like he has 2 daughters, like a baby and like a 2-year-old, so he can't play the same games he used to because he has to be able to like run and help them. And now he's playing Battlegrounds all the time because like it's a lot. I don't know. Like, I guess he's able to like quit the game if he wants, and he's pretty addicted to it. It sounds like
it's fun. Blizzard has done such a good job of, and it sounds weird that this is something that you want to do, but it is. Like, they've done such a good job of hiding the skills necessary for BGs, right?
BGs look so dumb when you play it, and then you're like, once you at every step, there's always a carrot of like figuring out the next thing and like realizing that there's something you can do to actually improve your win rate at every step, and then it just keeps expanding and expanding. But when you first look at it,
the people who are like still saying like, so I still get the random people who come in like, why aren't you playing standard? Battleground's so boring. I'm very convinced that those are the people who haven't actually played it at least 3 times and learned something from it. They think it's just super random, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, we have people who come in and are like, oh, why aren't you playing Arena? Not because they think BG suck, but just because they're sad because no one's playing Arena on Twitch.
It is true. It is very, very true. I played an Arena run on Friday.
No, nice. What happened?
It was an 8-win hunter. It was fine.
Okay.
I wanted to see aggro hunter. It was okay.
We're about to play a demon hunter run now, which is gonna be great.
So Slysssa, if you want to stick around for 10 minutes, we'll be done. If you don't know, Slysssa, Demon Hunter right now has a 39% win rate.
Oh, it went up.
It went from being the best to like a few nerfs, right? And then the trash.
Yeah, a few nerfs.
Just a few small nerfs. Yeah, a few small nerfs. Reducing all the offering rates of all their good cards by like 75%. It's just a few small nerfs.
Yeah, so they don't get class cards anymore.
What?
Not only did Blizzard nerf them, they did something worse than nerfing a class. They made them boring.
Yeah.
That's the death knell for a class, right? It's like, you can be bad, but if you're fun, people will play you.
Right.
The worst thing is if you're bad.
It's Flurgle.
Oh no! This is nothing like Flurgle. How dare you? First of all, how dare you? Okay.
First of all, how dare you?
How dare you? This is nothing like the majestic Flurgle. Okay. Demon Hunter Illidan, the sad, the sad being that he is. Yeah, he has no class cards. Like, I was watching Dreads, and he was incredulous that someone had the what was that charge card that also
Coil whatever.
Oh yeah,
Coil Fang.
Coil Fang.
I had not seen Coil Fang in like one of my matchups, like since the nerf. Like I've literally never seen that. I match up with Demon Hunter sometimes, but never.
Coil Fang Warlord. So it's the it's 8 mana rush. 8 mana, 9/5 rush. Death Rider spawn a 5/9 taunt.
Hate that card.
Did you use that in your deck in the tournament? Was that
no?
Oh, okay. Was it too?
I faced it and been like, what the?
Yeah, like why is that a card? Why is that not a legendary?
Yeah, this thing's insane, and I can imagine it being super strong in arena.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I've seen it. I played an arena game on Europe because I bought the Battleground Pass. I didn't want to buy it next time, so I was like, okay, I can farm gold with arena, but apparently you have to be good at arena to farm gold. So I went like 1-3.
Oh yeah, those
my arena skill.
Those quote free arena tickets that you get with the pass, right? That was I think
farming gold is going well on Europe.
Look, if you broaden your definition of farming, okay, anything's possible. Anything is possible.
I mean, farming doesn't mean harvesting.
It's true. we didn't say how well you're farming or what you're farming or what your yield is, right? I know nothing about farming other than farmersonly.com, the premier sites to match.
Oh wow.
Yes. Orange's preferred dating site. Okay. Yes. Don't ask me. Ask Orange. He'll tell you. Because city folk just don't get it. So we don't want to keep you on for longer than necessary. You've entertained us for 2 hours. Thank you for like I said, putting up with us. I think our listeners will really find it interesting because within like the Hearthstone, BG, Arena, whatever community, I think like people know about the streamers, about people, but in-depth discussions on streaming and about sort of the people that make up the streamers, that's sort of harder to find, right? Unless people really, really follow you, like they might not know about that. And they also just, it's like streaming is weird. Streaming is like a weird thing. And,
I think streaming is interesting because people want it to be really natural. Like, oh, you just do this for fun and it cultivates people. And I mean, obviously it's fun. I wouldn't do it otherwise.
It is.
As often as I do.
There's so much setup.
Not a natural, oh, I'm just going to be a big streamer because I stream the game and I'm good at it. Like, that's not how it works. And so this is actually interesting to see the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when someone does a sponsorship and they're like, oh, you're a sellout. You're like, well, how do you think I'm going to make money? I'm doing this. I do this 8 hours a day, every day. You think I'm going to live on the street? How will I get internet? Like,
you just play the game and then the stork brings you the money.
Yeah,
and
for
then
love of the game.
Money bag.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously, those are the people that are not like subbing to you, right? Those are the passerbys. It's like, oh, you should be so happy.
Yeah, we're giving you 4 cents of ad revenue for the time we're watching.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so Slysssa, I will see you.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at my bedtime's in 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We will let you not watch your movies because you don't do that. Go do whatever you got to do. Go cuddle the puppers. Thank you. And I will see you in your chat tomorrow.
Yes, sounds good. Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right.
See you, Slysssa. Thank you.